Hi there, I'm Colin and I love making all the things. And last week I tried making all 7 kombucha recipes from this book, The Noma Guide to Fermentation. So in this video, we're going to go through all some of those recipes of me making them and explaining why they're different than normal kombucha recipes and the process of bottling them. And then I will taste them with another kombucha fan at the end. So like I said, this book has 7 different recipes and I wanted to try making all of them. And I was like, I just need to do it all at once. Otherwise I'm never gonna get to doing all 7 of them. So the 7 different flavors are elderflower, lemon verbena, rose, coffee, mango, apple, and maple. And tonight I'm actually drinking a cocktail that includes the Maple Kombucha mixed with some whiskey and some rosemary and some bitters, and it's quite wonderful. So if you've never made kombucha before, the process is typically you make a sweet black tea and then you add a SCOBY, which is kind of like a vinegar mother or something like that, but SCOBY stands for a symbiotic culture of yeast and bacteria. And so that organism will eat the sugars and it will fart out CO2 and poop out alcohol. So typically kombuchas, you only ferment for like 7 days, and with how much sugar and how much yeast is in there, it's like almost like a near beer. There's hardly any ABV to it. The point is to get some like probiotic stuff going on for health reasons and to like give some fizzy carbonation and some funky flavors. So it's not really about getting a buzz. Most recipes that you see for kombuchas will start from like a sweet black tea fermented mixture, and they'll go through that process and then they'll add flavoring at the end. So it's always kind of like flavored black tea flavor profile, where Noma, instead of fermenting sweet black tea, they'll take that tea all the way out and you'll start with like sugar water, and then they'll use a different ingredient, whether that be lemon verbena, elderflower leaves, and they'll make a tea just from there. So we don't have any black tea flavors at all in these recipes, which makes them pretty unique compared to a lot of other recipes out there. So just a quick note about recipes. I'm not going to be giving away any of the recipes because they're all just straight from this book. So go pick up this book from your local bookstore, or if you know what you're doing, feel free to just extrapolate how you would do it yourself. But it's a pretty good book and I recommend it. So to prep for making all 7 at once, obviously I had to get the equipment in order, but then I also needed to eventually have 7 SCOBYs to be able to make this batch. So I only bought 1 SCOBY from the health food store near me, and then I was able to make a few batches of regular kombucha, and then the SCOBY grows and like layers will separate, and so you can end up with multiple SCOBYs as you make a few batches. So I was able to make those several batches and then have several SCOBYs and then some that were really thick. And then I was able to chop up the really thick ones into quarters, and that then multiplied how many SCOBYs I would have to make all these batches at once. So to get a SCOBY, health food stores usually have them. You could also ask a friend who's into kombucha to cut off a chunk of theirs for you, or I believe you can order them online now. You just have to search around. So for my glassware to ferment in, by the way, you want to use glass and you want to use something that has a really wide mouth. I got mine off Amazon, and they're fermentation specific vessels that came with lids and a little bubbler on top of it. And that allows the air to escape but nothing to come in. In the book, and a lot of people that make kombucha, they say you want to use like a piece of fabric and a rubber band on top so it's breathable, like two-way. So some things can get in, but like dust can't. I found that there wasn't like a problem with having just the bubbler with stuff, like it didn't need stuff coming in. It was able to just let that CO2 out. If you were to put a tight lid on it, it could explode because like I said, the yeast and the bacteria, they are farting out CO2, and so the pressure can build. So you want something breathable during this first fermentation period, but you don't want dust getting there, so you don't want to just leave it open. All of the dried ingredients were incredibly easy to pick up online, and all of the wet or fresh ingredients were easy to pick up too, with the exception of elderflower. I couldn't find fresh elderflowers, but it was easy to find dried elderflower. All right, so with all that background and prep out of the way, let's see how I made all these batches. So I'm not going to show the entire process of making each and every one of these, otherwise we'd be here for 12 hours. So I'll kind of hit some of the highlights on the first couple and then speed through the interesting things about some of the other recipes. So the lemon verbena was a pretty simple batch and kind of emblematic of the process. So we start by taking a 1-to-1 mixture of water and sugar, and we dissolve that sugar into the water. And then that sugar water gets added to the remaining water you need for that batch to be the right saturation point. And then we add the lemon verbena leaves and stir it around and let it steep for about 10 minutes. Then we filter out the lemon verbena leaves and we add in 200 grams of some of that previously made kombucha. And then we add the SCOBY in, put the top on, and then that's good to go for 7 days to go on ahead and ferment. The elderflower ended up being almost identical process to the lemon verbena because I had dried elderflower. The book does call for fresh elderflowers and it's slightly different process, but I ended up just doing the exact same amount of time on the elderflower and the same process, and it still turned out really good. So the apple one was super easy because apple juice already has just the right amount of sugar to water ratio. So you just put that in your fermentation vessel, add kombucha from a previous batch, throw in the SCOBY, put on the lid, and you're good to go. The maple was also likewise pretty simple because you don't need to heat anything up. Now, obviously maple syrup has a higher sugar concentration than apple juice, so we still had to water that down and get water to maple syrup in the fermentation vessel, and then just added the kombucha backslop and add the SCOBY, and then that was ready to go. So the coffee one was interesting because you could either use fresh coffee grinds or you could use used coffee grinds. Obviously you need a whole lot more of the used ones for this recipe because there's less flavor to be extracted from those grounds. And that's a really great environmental thing to do. I really wanted to give this the best shot possible, so I used fresh, good coffee just to see what would happen. So the process includes making our sugar water like normal, but then we add the cold water to that sugar water to cool it down, and then we add the coffee grinds into that water mixture. But instead of just getting ready to ferment, we let that sit in the fridge overnight. So it's kind of like making a big batch of sweetened cold brew coffee. And the next day, pull it out of the fridge and then filter out those coffee grinds, add in the kombucha backslop, add in the SCOBY, and then it's good to go to ferment for 7 days. The rose was another complicated batch because instead of just steeping the petals like we did with the lemon verbena or the elderflower, they wanted you to blend up the rose petals. Now, they specified the sugar water and then add the cold water and then mix the two in the blender and you're good to go. But my blender is really small. I've just got this little baby. And so I had to mix it in batches, and the blender isn't super great. And so I found that as it was blending, it was making me think that my results were different than theirs because mine turned to sludge and was super thick. So I was not convinced that I had the right water to petal ratio, and things were not looking good. But I just decided to forge ahead anyways and continued on with the recipe. And I threw all that rose petal sludge into the fermentation vessel and put it in the fridge to steep overnight like they requested in the recipe. And the next day when I pulled it out, I pulled out that, it kind of felt like I was making paper or something. So I put that sludge in a filter and I was able to squeeze out quite a bit of liquid from it. But then I put it in a towel and was able to wring it out, and I got so much liquid out of that. It was really successful, and I was able to get out enough that that batch ended up having more liquid than some of the other batches that I had made. So all of my fears were unfounded. It ended up being okay in the end. The mango is a little similar to the rose in that you chop up mango and you make the sugar syrup and add the water, and you put it all together in the blender, and then you're gonna add the kombucha and the SCOBY and let it go. But the mango was super thick. And again, it was kind of leaving me wishing that I had a better blender, so that way it could have been a thinner mixture or it blended better, but it ended up being just fine the way it was. Now, the interesting thing about the mango one is that the mango will separate as it ferments. And so the book recommends that you get a spoon and you go under the SCOBY and then you stir it up to keep it together. I waited a couple days to actually let the SCOBY have time to fill up the top of the vessel, because the SCOBY I used came from a chunk and it wasn't already like a preformed big thick part on top. And so I waited till it had enough surface area on the top to be able to get under it and to stir it up. So I wasn't just stirring up SCOBY, I was like really stirring up the mango. So once I was done making all of those kombucha batches, we put on the lid with the bubbler so that way the air could get out but nothing could get in. And then I put them in the warmest place of my house, which happens to be in my dining room, where I've got a big window that lets in a lot of sun, and then I have some bookshelves, and I put them on the top of the bookshelf. And so the heat usually rises in that room, and it's the warmest room in the house. So my ferments usually do really well in that location. So I put them, and they don't get direct sunlight. So I left them there for 7 days, and then it was time to taste and see where they were at, and then bottle. So I tasted them all about the 7-day mark to see where they were at, and they all tasted pretty good to me, and I was ready to bottle at that point. Kombucha is one of those things where you have the option of whether or not you want to let it go longer, or, sometimes when you taste it, just that SCOBY, maybe it was a little bit colder and it didn't do the same amount of work yet, and the flavor isn't where you want it yet, and you might want to let it go long. It's one of those things where you just got to keep tasting it and take it out and bottle it at the point where you like it. You can even let it go a super long time, like a month, and it'll kind of become kombucha vinegar and get super vinegary in flavor and become more of a cooking ingredient than something you want to drink. So to bottle them up, I scooped out the SCOBY and put it back in the SCOBY hotel, and then I filtered all of them before I bottled them. The filtering is useful because if you forgot and had some lemon verbena leaves left over, it'll catch that, but also there will be little globules of SCOBY in the mixture that aren't attached to the big glob, and it's good to catch those out so you don't accidentally drink it, because it's not a pleasant experience. So bottling it is good instead of like putting it in a pitcher, because it will self-carbonate in the bottle. So that's why you want to use something with a closed lid at this point. Now, like a word of warning, depending on how active your batch still is, that's where you might get explosions like you might have seen online. So it's a good rule of thumb to monitor it closely and burp them by just popping open the lid every couple of days or every day, depending on how vigorous your batch is, just so that way it doesn't build up so much gas that explodes when you open it. But what's cool is if you use like those swing top bottles that you can get online from like a homebrew supply or, Bezos, those bottles are made for fermentation, so they're able to take a little bit of pressure. But again, be careful when you open them if it's been a while, because it might have built up enough gas to explode in your face. So I let these sit for about 24 hours, and then I invited a friend over to taste. This is my friend Meg, and I convinced her somehow to come try these kombuchas with me. Now, you did say... I thought these were vodkas. You did say, sure, I'll do it, but someone else said you liked kombucha. Do you actually like kombucha?
I do actually like kombucha.
Okay.
I do actually like kombucha. I either really, really love kombucha, or I think it tastes like straight up apple cider vinegar.
Well, I'm curious to see.
So am I.
So, which one do you want to try first? Maybe we go light to dark. We'll do wine style.
Great.
So I think, you've got the lightest one. Does that one look like we need to filter it? I do have a mesh filter. That one would be lemon verbena kombucha.
Lemon verbena kombucha.
Which is like a leaf. It's going to be tea adjacent, but... maybe.
I'm excited. And you said that there was no risk of this exploding.
Yeah.
Damn!
I was kind of worried there for a minute.
All right.
Now, let's just do little tasters. We have 7 to go.
All right. Is that...
Yeah, that looks good. Now, I only let them sit in the bottle overnight, so they might not be as carbonated as normal, but I think they'll still taste okay. I just had to make the video.
Cheers.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's a lot sweeter and milder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. The odor is much more vinegary, but the actual flavor is really delicate.
Definitely lemon.
Yeah. Very lemon forward.
Very lemon forward.
Which is interesting because it's lemon verbena, which you would never think like a plant could get that lemony, but it tastes like I use lemon juice.
I like it. It's a little salty almost on the finish. That's great.
Let's do elderflower. And oh yeah. Oh, this whole thing came off.
I'm sure that was a good seal.
Oh,
that's the one that needs a...
So this one has some floaty particulates, so we're going to do a little quick fresh strain here. And yeah, good thing we did, because we caught the booger right away. Is that super appetizing when I...
Caught the booger?
Say caught the booger to you? Yeah, more vinegar on the nose. See, this just tastes like sweeter kombucha, like regular kombucha, but a little sweeter.
I do get more of the tea in this one, for sure. That just might be the elderflower.
Yeah, I don't get any of the lemon, but it's like the same background flavor is consistent. But that makes sense because they're both kombuchas.
Still really mild. Still pretty mild.
I think this one is just very adjacent to standard kombucha. There's nothing really standing out to me about this. Like it could just be regular kombucha. You didn't have to go get elderflowers.
I'll say I would go back for seconds for this one.
Yeah, same. So the apple and the elderflower were the ones that were the most frothy when I bottled them.
Okay.
So if we're going to get an explosion, I'm going to guess it was going to be on the apple or the elderflower. No, that one had a loose seal. Let's see if maple.
Right.
It's pretty color. I'm going to act like I've used one of these bottles before. Now, a milder...
Yeah. That isn't working.
Oh.
Well, I like that a lot.
That's really fun.
I want to put whiskey in that.
Yeah, whiskey and rosemary. And then this is the fall cocktail of the year.
Like a smoked salt.
Damn. The back end is just so mapley.
Isn't it?
Should I not say back end?
That back end? Well,
the background
the
flavor.
salt on the finish from the back end.
The background flavor is so mapley.
It's really it tastes like eating just one of those maple candies.
Yeah. But it's less sweet than I feel like the last two were.
This one's still the sweetest.
Yeah. I thought literally pouring maple syrup in there would have made this one sweeter. But this doesn't taste like I'm drinking maple syrup. You know what I mean? I like that one a lot.
Excellent. Well done.
That could have gone either way to me. It could have been good. Could have been meh.
I feel like that's usually how that works.
All right. I think it's ready for apple. I think this is going to be the explosion. Not a good seal again. Okay, so this is bottles.
This is going to be the last video you ever make.
Oh.
What is botulism?
I don't think we're dealing with botulism yet. Okay, this one had like a more viscous.
Viscous. Yes, I love going for viscous.
It does smell like apples.
Oh wow!
Ooh, that's just cider.
That just tastes like cider.
Yeah,
I don't get vinegar at all. It's just cider.
Have you ever had the like scrumpy cider?
Well,
the, like,
I could answer better if I knew what scrumpy meant. What do you mean when you say scrumpy?
So like a lot of times here in the US we have like Angry Orchard and they're like really light, really fizzy. But like the old style British ciders that come in like dark bottles and you pour them and they're thicker and darker.
And there's usually like shit in it.
Yeah. Yes. This is that.
This tastes like if you just nibble on the skin of an apple.
Yeah.
Like that like fibrous almost flavor, but it's like it's tart. It's good. I like it.
There's like a lot of apple things you only get the sweetness of the apple, but this you get some of the earthiness that the skin can
maybe
bring.
That's what it's like an earthy apple.
You can taste the terroir. All right, let's try the mango. Again, a little concerned with the thickness on this one.
This does look like it could be a syrup. We're
gonna do one.
I'm really loving how.
Yeah, it's syrupy. Look at how it sits in that strainer like that.
Coagulating.
Are you sure you want to try this? I mean, you got it at this point.
I mean, it's mango.
They did say that they intentionally wanted to go for something thicker when they made this recipe.
I feel like mango gets very pulpy.
That one's got a fartier aroma. I'm a little nervous. No, that's delicious.
Okay.
That's legit good. It's less sour than the rest.
Disagree.
Oh, I think I'm just getting so much mango flavor.
There's a lot of mango flavor.
It's overpowered the vinegariness of kombucha. No, that's actually good. I like that. And the texture is fine after it's been 3 times strained.
The texture is fine.
It's not, it looked like it was going to be like sipping on snot, but it's not.
It's not sipping on snot. This is a liquid to drink. You can drink this down like you would a serving of NyQuil. You can definitely drink this.
No, it's not like that at all.
You said you enjoyed it. Would you like more of this?
Go on ahead.
Great.
I think Rose next, because coffee I don't think you can come back from.
No.
All right.
I heard a little.
There was a little polite fart.
A little polite fart.
Ooh, that's a pretty color.
Beautiful color.
Wow. This one just for color alone. What if you had a rose Cosmo with that?
It smells gorgeous.
It does smell like a grandmother's perfume.
It smells like a perfume. Oh my goodness.
That is more bitter and like spicy than I thought it would. Like almost like an anise spice or like a clove.
I really like that.
There's like a cloviness to it, like a mild clove, but like I'm getting, obviously like you're tasting the smell of how roses smell is how it tastes. But then there's like a little kind of clovey spice to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think just replace the pomegranate juice with this and make a Cosmo with it. A rose Cosmo.
Honestly, yeah.
Because a little bit of lime and some vodka in there.
That would be really nice. I'm pleasantly surprised. I really thought I was gonna really love the mango and just about the rose. What? Okay, so this is just the petals that you've blended.
Rose petals, sugar, water. I
really like that.
Yeah.
I really like that. No expectations. Fantastic. Wow. Yes, the carbonation is all a good note. The carbonation is...
This one is the most carbonated so far. Now, again, only had 24 hours, but...
It's also the only one that had a decent seal on it.
Yes.
So something to do with it.
You know, I'm kind of not mad about it because I've got 14 bottles of kombucha in my fridge. If they all would have blown up last night, that could have been...
That would have been really unfortunate.
All right, let's pop the coffee. All right. No explosions today. I'm happy. Could have been good for the thumbnail, but I'm only pouring mine first, so that way if there's a little tag-along of...
Oh, bless you. Wow.
No, I did use actually good coffee for this. I had some Mad
Cat
coffee.
This isn't like Folgers instant.
No.
Okay.
No. I think a lot of times people will make something like this. They'll use crappy coffee because they're like, oh, it's going to get changed so much. But I think it does matter to use good.
I mean, that's what you're getting the flavor from.
Holy shit. That's like the weirdest thing I've ever tasted.
Okay, there's a beverage, and I don't know where it is popular, but it's like coffee and lemonade. That's what this tastes like.
Yeah.
Because I've had it before. There's like a cold brew and like a lemonade, and it's cold beverage.
That's exactly what that tastes like. It's so weird, but it's good. I like it, but it takes me a minute to wrap my brain around it.
This tastes like a really nice stout, almost like a coffee stout.
Yeah.
On the the aftertaste.
I think sometimes cold brew people really use a lot of milk and sugar to sweeten it, and then it loses some of the coffeeness because the milk flavor kind of starts taking over. Whereas the coffee flavor is still at the plate, still batting, but the sweetness, it's like taken out all, there's no bitterness.
Mm-mm.
It's just like, it tastes like lemonade flavored by coffee.
Yeah.
I could see this being a replacement to doctoring up a cold brew in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is good. Oh, I do got a little floating friend.
Aww.
So you just got to watch out for little floating friends.
You know what? While I still have this one, I think I'm also going to combine the maple because I really want to see how they pair together.
I'm going to watch you do this.
Yeah.
How it goes for you. See, now I didn't expect the lemon flavor to be popping out in the coffee kombucha. Part of me wonders if that's like one of the flavors that is present in that coffee that you don't notice until you prepare it.
Is there like a citrus flavor on that?
Yeah. I'll have to go look at that bag of coffee. It was from Madcap in Grand Rapids. I'll have to look at that bag and see if citrus was one of their flavor notes. But if it is, like, that's actually a good intentional pairing. I totally do that. Yeah, citrus. I did it intentionally. How's the combo?
There might be too much going on.
You're right. I could see that.
There might be too much going on.
All right. Well, thank you for helping me try all of these. I was too nervous to do it by myself.
So much for inviting me. I'm pleasantly surprised by the rose. Wow. Amazing. Maple?
I think the rose and the maple are the ones that I want to play more with as far as building like a cocktail off of it or using it to flavor something else. Thanks so much for watching my kombucha adventure. I had a lot of fun exploring the intricacies of these recipes and tasting things that I've never tasted before in my life. It was really interesting. I've been having that coffee kombucha in the mornings and it's so exciting because it's so unexpected. So it's really refreshing and invigorating way to start the day. I even used the apple kombucha this last week when I was making some pork chops. I chopped up some apples and sweet potatoes and onions, and I braised the pork chops and all that stuff in the apple kombucha. And then once everything was done, I pulled out the chops and all the other stuff, and I cooked it down to make like a pan sauce, and I added some mustard and then mounted it with some butter, and then I poured that over the pork chops, and it was unbelievably good. I think the kombucha definitely came through and was the star of that dish. I think some of my next videos are going to have to be trying out some of the other suggested uses from the book, like using the maple for a barbecue sauce. Like, that just sounds super wild. So again, thanks for watching, and I'm going to try to make a video once a month again and get back into the swing of things. And if I get inspired, I might make a few more videos. I think the big projects will still be once a month, but there might be some book reviews or some snacks posted along the way. So look out for more content from me. All right, thanks again for watching, and until next time, cheers.